All right. Good evening, my friends. It is 9:46 on a Wednesday evening. My name is Nick, aka Perfect 216, and you are tuning in to Main Event Fantasy. Glad to have you here. Thank you for joining. If you're stopping by for the first time, if it's not your first time, do me a favor, hit the like and subscribe button for me. We really appreciate it. We're going to get into some best ball drafting as always right here on Underdog Fantasy. That is what we do. And we've got a few more things to do with Best Ball Mania, a few more shots at it. There's been definitely a lot of news. We're going to talk about that. There's some trades. We need to talk about how that impacts your fantasy football teams, your lineups. And then I am pivoting on some draft strategy for these last couple weeks of drafts, just a little bit only in best ball, not really pivoting my regular redraft strategy. So if you're new here, we're drafting best ball fantasy football teams. What does that mean? It's just like drafting your regular teams, except you draft a little bit differently because there are no trades, there are no waiver wires. You draft your team and the best players play automatically. And so you don't have to overthink it to that extent. Because that's how we can draft hundreds of teams. I am well over 500 teams now. I'm going to continue to draft those. We're going to get into Best Ball Mania 6. This is the flagship contest, the world's largest fantasy football contest. 672,000 entrants, $25 buy-in. You can do 150 drafts maximum into this tournament. We've got 37 more we can do. We're really whittling it down, and $2 million to first place, $1 million to second, $500,000 to third, and so on. Highly recommend grabbing into these contests. So we're going to jump right in and let's get rolling. We'll see where we're at. We've got 5 more spots open in this draft if you want to draft live with us. If you've never drafted here before, if you click in the description of any of my videos, I include the link to Underdog Fantasy, along with a promo code that you can use when you sign up. When you make your first deposit, use promo code PERFECT216, and you'll get a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. So that means if you deposit $100, they're going to give you $50 free. If you deposit $500, they're going to give you $250 free. So highly recommend using the promo code, and that way you can get that extra cash when you sign up and you make that first deposit. We are at pick 101, so that is exciting. Real quick, on the draft map I popped up on the screen, if you're in any of the yellow highlighted states, you are eligible to play on Underdog Fantasy, as long as you meet the age restrictions for your state. And would love to have you join us. I think more states are getting added, feels like every day. And I think you guys will have a great time drafting. And if you're getting ready for your home leagues, your redraft leagues, this is the best way to draft fantasy football teams, because you draft against other players in these tournaments where you can win real money. And people are trying hard, which means you're going to see all sorts of draft strategy. They're going to be pretty sharp drafters, and it's going to help prepare you for your home leagues. All right, at the 101, it's not even a question. We're going to get Ja'Marr Chase. Nobody really questions it at this point. He has pretty much almost never goes at the 102 or 103. He's just pretty much a 101 and done. The only argument I think you could make would be Bijan or Saquon at the 101. Let's flop this around so you guys can see the draft board and see how it's flying through tonight. We are definitely looking forward to seeing how things change. There was some news today, some trades made. One of the biggest ones, I guess, noteworthy would be the Chiefs are sending wide receiver Sky Moore to the San Francisco 49ers. The 49ers have been decimated with injuries. You have Brandon Ayuk recovering from a knee injury. He's probably going to be back around week 6. Juwan Jennings been dealing with a calf injury. Jordan Watkins has a high ankle sprain. Demarcus Robinson has a 3-game suspension. So Here comes Sky Moore. Don't forget, Ricky Pearsall's there. I've been saying this all along. Ricky Pearsall's the guy you need to target in the 49ers. I've got plenty of them, and I think you guys should too in your drafts for sure. George Kittle would be a great pick in the 4th round of these drafts. So, and of course, CMC is going to catch some passes out of the backfield. I think he's a great pick in your 1st round as well. But will I get any Sky Moore on my teams? Maybe I'll throw 1 or 2 shots at Sky Moore around 18, but not very many. I don't see the season-long runway for him. Might have a slow start by the time he gets up and going. You know, Ayuk is probably going to be back, and then you've got Juwan Jennings is still hanging around. The suspension will be over for Demarcus Robinson. You know, he could easily get reburied on the depth chart, so I wouldn't get too overly excited about it. But the Chiefs didn't really trade too much away, so when they're getting rid of Sky Moore, and he didn't do a lot with his opportunities there in Kansas City necessarily. Kind of got buried by the depth chart. Kind of pivoting a little bit on some draft strategy because of some of the dinged up guys that are out there. I am planning on looking a little closer at less elite quarterback and getting more early running back and trying to see how that feels. Meaning when I say more early running back, I mean getting a couple of back-to-back, a double anchor, a running back start might trump my standard, which is my normal preference, which would be just single anchor RB. I think I'm going to try and go double anchor RB in some of these early round drafts and then build out the wide receivers behind it. But when you have Ja'Marr Chase, you definitely don't question it. Wow, Hampton is moving up in drafts, isn't he? So we're going to take Jonathan Taylor here. ADP 21 goes at 24. And then I think we'll go ahead and I guess I'm going to contradict myself here. And we're just going to get Josh Allen. I don't think I've drafted Josh Allen on any teams that I have Ja'Marr Chase on. So that might make it a little bit unique enough to make it worthwhile to give it a shot. Josh Allen has been dominant over the last 6 years. Quarterback 1 or 2. No one scored more fantasy football points over the last 6 years than Josh Allen. I said Jonathan Allen, didn't I? Put Josh Allen and Jonathan Taylor together, and I've turned him into a masterpiece of Jonathan Allen. So I don't know what I was thinking. Give me 1 second real quick. I'll be right back. All right. My cat is extra needy tonight, and she always seems to find her way up here. Do. Kyron Williams goes back half of the 3rd round. Looks like we're going to get some more action into the 4th round with some of these running backs. Usually you don't see too much. George Kittle in the 3rd. That's a little early probably for him, but I did just get done telling you guys that I think George Kittle's a good pick in the 4th round. And there's Jaden Daniels off the board. I'm trying to see if we saw any unique starts. I mean, Chase Chase Brown got pulled up pretty early at 17. That's a little earlier than he probably normally should go. London got pulled into the first. I like London this year. I think he's going to be a great pick in the second round. Not too much crazy, though, otherwise. I mean, Brock Bowers made it to 21. That's not terrible. I guess my getting Taylor at 24 is probably the biggest faller. I'm struggling with the fact that Hampton is all the way up here at 27. I mean, I probably shouldn't. Now they are talking about the potential for Najee Harris will miss the first 4 games on the PUP list of the season, which means if Hampton starts the first 4 games of this year and just absolutely goes off, when Najee does come back, I think he'll have a role, but his role may be a whole lot less than he thought he was going to start the year at. So there's definitely a little bit of concern there. And I have enough Najee Harris to, fill plenty of seasons. So I'm a little bit nervous by that. Pickens goes. All right. What are we doing here? We are family. We are family. I'm going to get Kenneth Walker here. And we'll grab another wide receiver. We'll do DK Metcalf, who is my highest wide receiver rated on the board. We've gotten a pretty good amount of DK Metcalf this year. I'm banking on the fact that Aaron Rodgers is going to have to throw to somebody on the Pittsburgh Steelers. And I think DK has been waiting to be fed. He wants to be that guy. I think he's in the middle of his prime, and I think he wants to be fed as a true number one. And if any year they're going to try and do that, I feel like this would be the year. Call it a good instinct, but it's just my thought on it. We'll see if I'm right. A couple other pieces of news. So the Denver Broncos are sending wide receiver Devon Vele to the New Orleans Saints for a 4th-round pick and a 7th-round pick, which I don't know what the Saints are doing. I don't know what they see in him, but I guess it's worth noting. I would say when you think about him going there, that says a lot more about the Saints depth chart and like Brandon Cooks, who was the wide receiver 3. If you were taking Brandon Cooks, when you bring Vele on, they're probably looking to maybe give him a lot of work, which means Brandon Cooks has probably just got his workload eaten into. So, if you're looking to take a random flyer on one guy, I mean, Vele could be okay, but he's still probably going to be the wide receiver 4, and he could overtake Cooks at 3. So I don't know. And if Olave stays healthy, he'll be a little further down the depth chart. But if Olave does not stay healthy, then you could see him rise if he's actually any good. I'm a little surprised, though, that he got a 4th-round pick for it, if I'm being honest. I feel like that's a steal. I could be wrong. That's just, call my opinion. They did announce today, again, I think I shared this earlier, Demarcus Robinson, the 49ers, was suspended 3 games for violating the NFL substance abuse policy. That is part of the reason why the Chiefs traded Sky Moore to the 49ers. So that's kind of where that came in. There was news out of Ravens camp that Lamar Jackson left practice, appeared to be flexing his wrist. But someone from the Ravens said, excuse me. Woo! These late streams are getting to me. Someone from the Ravens said that Lamar got his foot stepped on, but he's fine. But I think it's interesting because he seemed to be favoring his right wrist about 90 minutes into practice. So I don't know how, they're saying he got stepped on, but what's really true? What I really care about is the man okay? And I care probably a little less about him being okay for him Then I do Zay Flowers because y'all know I've been taking Zay Flowers this year. I think Zay Flowers could have a breakout year. All he's got to do is fall into like 4 or 5 more touchdowns this year than he's normally had, and he does that and his numbers go up tremendously. ADP keeps shifting. Juwan Jennings goes to 69. Myers at 70. Olave goes 71. I was hoping to get Olave back, but we're not going to be that lucky. So we're going to roll with what we got. We're going to take DeAndre Swift, third running back, and we'll take Jerry Jeudy, third wide receiver, and we'll just be happy with it. 3 number 1 wide receivers on their teams. 3 what should be bell cow style running backs. Kenneth Walker, you could argue, is not because you have Zach Charbonnet, who has a role every year and is really done well with it. I'm running out of water, and I probably should have refilled this before I started the stream because I really don't want to have to go all the way downstairs to refill the water. It's not on my list of things I really want to do. But here we are. We are family. Addison goes at 78. Reed at 79. Pollard's all the way up to 74 here. Really rising in drafts. Really has risen with the Tyjae Spears injury news. Let me scroll down a little bit and see what they're saying about Spears if I can find him. I've got a good amount of him. I'm hoping he's fine. Says he's still dealing with high ankle sprain. He was cut off the field after injuring his ankle in the first half. They'd expect him to miss a couple weeks, possibly the season opener. I'm hoping that he's okay and that shouldn't be that worried about him because the guy's pretty talented. So hopefully he ends up being back in the saddle here. Ideally for the opener, even if he's in limited usage, I think it would be good just to see him on the field and healthy for that game. And then they can just work up his workload when I believe inevitably Pollard will not be what they need. I mean, I don't know that he's got enough juice. I don't hate where he's going in drafts now, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just biased because I like Tyjae Spears and I think he was a really tremendous value earlier on and then he got hurt. So I'll just go with that. All right. We're coming around here to picks 96, 97. Ideally here, I would love to get Keon Coleman because he would pair up with Josh Allen. Don't know if we're going to pass. He's going to get past these next 3 picks. Cooper Kupp goes. Michael Pittman Jr. goes. Just got to survive 2 more. I don't know that we will, but we're going to try and hope for the best. And he doesn't. I think this guy's just taking whatever's the top ADP. I'm pretty sure he's like auto drafting at this point. Kyler Murray goes. All right. What are we doing here? There's just massive drop off of players. Guess we're going to have to get Chris Godwin as one of them. And then guess we could just go B-Rob here, right? And we'll just take the next running back available and let the board tell us what to do. I'm trying to fight my urge to click my own players and not just let ADP dictate what I should do. I think sometimes letting ADP dictate it will somehow allow it to fall into your lap the way you want it to. All right. Mark Andrews goes 102. Jaylen Warren went in the 8th. Not too bad. Y'all know I like Jaylen Warren. He's on the board over my shoulder. It's a reminder to keep drafting him. I think Jaylen Warren may be quietly the best pick in fantasy football this year. And people aren't talking about it enough, and I'm not really sure why. Oh, I've had a long day. We had baseball practice for the 9-year-old today. So it's been a busy evening. Youngest two had doctor's appointments. The wife had to take him to the doctor's. And then, of course, I had work. So with my business, so we had a very busy day. But busy is good, right? Keeps us honest, keeps us, doing our thing. And despite being tired, I am here with you guys. Here grinding out some drafts, having a good time, drafting fantasy football teams with you fine folks. So I hope I'm helping somebody. I hope you're enjoying the content. I hope you're just entertained. If I had a quick button that cued the gladiator thing that says, "Are you not entertained?" Then I would definitely cue it up right about now. But I have not worked out those details. My plan would be next year when we come around to this, draft season, I will try and upgrade everything we're doing here at Main Event Fantasy, all the visuals, the whole process. And then I plan on doing that while we're all celebrating the fact that I won $2 million. That's my plan. All right, we're on the board. Bateman comes back. That makes me feel really, really good. I'm glad he's here. Now we have some other decisions to make. 4, 3, 2, 1. Got it. I guess we'll just grab Marvin Mims here. I don't have a lot of him. Kind of needed another receiver. Feel really good about having Josh Allen. Feel good about the running back room. Don't love the wide receivers that fell. I feel like sometimes they usually fall. A couple of guys will fall to you. But that did not happen for us so far. So we'll just play it as it goes. See if we can turn this draft into something special. With these Best Ball Mania tournaments, it is important to be unique, but I want to be balanced, meaning to say I want to have a good balanced portfolio of teams when I'm drafting as many teams as I have when you're over 500 teams in total, with 150 of them going to be in Best Ball Mania. I want to have some balance to my portfolio. I will have some higher player takes, but having balance allows you to say that, you're not completely shut out. And, if there's a certain combination, right, certain code you got to crack to win this thing, I want to be able to have a little bit of that balance. So if Marvin Mims gets picked here by me and I don't have a lot of them, that's okay. I don't need to have a lot of them, but I've got a couple of shares, and if he works out, then maybe it pans out for the best. And if you guys are just joining, welcome. This is Main Event Fantasy. We're drafting live on Underdog. These are best ball drafts, fantasy football drafts. These are best ball tournaments. Right now we're in the Best Ball Mania tournament, which is the largest tournament in fantasy football. $2 million to first place, $1 million to second place, $500,000 to third, and so on, and $25 buy-in. And so you can draft tons of teams on Underdog because they're best ball drafts, which means there's no time commitment during the regular season because you don't have any trades, no waiver wires, and your teams will automatically be playing the best players for you because your lineups are set by based on their performance. So these are my favorite way to draft teams. It's the most fun way to draft lots of teams. If you enjoy drafting teams, this is definitely my favorite way to do it. And it also helps you get ready for your regular redraft leagues. So highly recommend it. Fantasy Dog, welcome in, my friend. Good to have you in. Hopefully you're doing well tonight. I got to be honest with you. I'm tired. Tonight I am a tired man. But I'm still here grinding out because I love doing this stuff. And I'm hoping in the back of my mind, somebody's getting some entertainment or some knowledge or something out of this. Maybe tonight somebody watched this and then they went and drafted their own team and they won $1 million. Then I've contributed my portion to their winnings and I'll feel like I've done something. But I am pretty tired tonight. All right, we're going to hope and pray that these two fine gentlemen, Dalton Kincaid and Josh Palmer, make it back to us because we need a couple of Buffalo Bills players on this team. All right, ask and I shall receive. So we're going to get Dalton Kincaid, Joshua Palmer. That feels nice. Feels nicey. So we double stack with Josh Allen. Really like our running back room. Wide receiver room makes me feel better now that we've been able to get a couple of stacks. So we'll definitely stop at 5 running backs. We'll end up with 2 quarterbacks when we have Josh Allen. We don't need a third one, in my opinion. And then we'll probably end up with 3 tight ends and 8 wide receivers. That's what it's shaping up to be. But we'll see what the board gives us and keep going. Yes, sir. You're good. However you do it. And, my man, you are a nice guy. I appreciate that. Hopefully you had a good Wednesday. My Wednesday was good. It was productive. It was fantastic, except it was tiring. I am sleepy. Sometimes, though, doing these things helps me just kind of calm down from the day-to-day and enjoy a little bit of peace before I go to sleep and then wake up tomorrow and, feel a little refreshed and back at it again, back at the grind again. Fancy Dog says, bust them tight ends looking real strong otherwise. Yeah, the fact that we got Kincaid here stacked up with Allen kind of raises the positivity of this team for sure. And then if we can get a couple of nice little tight ends in the bring back, I'll feel great. And one more good quarterback correlation. I think the quarterback thing might be a little bit harder because Cincinnati, done. Burrow's gone. We could do Aaron Rodgers. I'm not getting a Cleveland quarterback. That carousel, I'm off of it. Baker Mayfield's gone. Lamar Jackson's gone. Bo Nix is gone. And we have him. So really, it's Aaron Rodgers or we create another stack. Is kind of what the options are. Which, if I was going to do that, it probably would have been with Cam Ward. That's my favorite way to backstack some people. So at this point, I think Aaron Rodgers has to be the guy on this team. And that's okay because I can end up double stacking him if I get my man John in, right? Actually, you just said it too. I didn't even see your message until after I said it. Johnu as the number 2. Yeah, I like it. I like it, but let's see what's coming up. All right, so Najee, we're going to punt for right now. The word is Najee Harris is probably going to start the year in the pup and miss 4 weeks. Not what I was hoping to hear, but I'm still optimistic that he's going to save the day on some teams that I have. I'm still optimistic because that's what I do. was hoping to get Chig here. All right, so one of these is going to be Jonnu. And you know what? When we're in the position we're in, where I think we can do a lot here. I think I'm just going to go with Zach Ertz and just let him fall into some touchdowns maybe as an option. Just take what's on the board. Just take the gift and just say thank you. Move on. So now next time around, we will grab Aaron Rodgers, assuming we don't somehow miraculously get sniped. And then we'll be done at quarterback, and we'll need one running back and one more wide receiver is probably what we're going to do. And then we'll be done with this team. There's a lot of moving pieces, a lot of injuries that are changing the dynamics this year more than I remember last year at this time. It was fairly quiet other than a couple of things where I felt like the board didn't change as much as it has this year. And that can be good, but it can be bad. So you would have done the same thing? Good call then. If you would have done it, then it's the right move, right? You've done a lot of this. You know what you're doing. I have faith in you, my friend, that we're making good decisions out here. If Chig was there, Chig Okonkwo would have been my pick instead of Zach Ertz. You all know I'm in on Chig this year. I like guys that haven't hit their ceiling. You know, I genuinely normally stay away. The only difference with Ertz is I think he's playing his last season for Washington would be my guess. I think his playing time will go down. You hope he stays healthy, but with them needing some options, and I think he looked like a good red zone target for Jane Daniels last year, that the guy could still fall in some touchdowns. Let me actually look everything up for him real quick for last year. So last year, he was a top 10 tight end. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 8 out of 18 weeks, he was a top 10 tight end, or had a tight end 10 or better finish. How about that? He ended up finishing the year as a tight end 7, and he only had 69% snap share, but he was very efficient, and that just kind of goes to my point. He had 7 touchdowns, so he fell into some touchdowns pretty good, and if he can keep doing that, then he'll pay off his ADP this year too. I mean, if you were the number 7 tight end and you're going right now in drafts as like the number, I don't know, 20 tight end, you can easily outdo your ADP. Fantasy Dog says the board has changed a lot in the last month. It really has. I don't know that I'm that big of a fan of some of the ways the boards have changed. Like I don't like it. It doesn't make me feel great. But I am changing a little bit of my draft strategy somewhat here as we're going towards the end, just to get some different style teams to shift my thing. And I think it changed because of the injuries of some people that were banged up. And I'm kind of shifting more towards I think a heavier running back start. And I'm really going to punt tight end further down. If I don't get one of these values at quarterback for elite quarterback, I'm going to probably, if I like what's on the board, I'm going to probably punt quarterback a little bit too, because you all know I've been all in on the elite quarterbacks, but I may kick that down the road just a little bit. All right, we need to grab our last 2 picks here. So going by ADP, wow, my ADP just evaporated with talent. So Miles Sanders feels like a fun little pick here, and we still need Aaron Rodgers. So we'll do that. So we got Aaron Rodgers right where he's supposed to. We have Miles Sanders. We finished that off, so we're done running back. And then our last pick as we come around will be a one final wide receiver. So let me queue up a bunch of wide receivers, and then we'll just jump into the next draft so we can kind of keep it rolling tonight, because I am halfway on the struggle bus, and I don't want to completely fall off of it. All right, let's throw some fun names on there. Stay away, everybody, of Jalen McMillan, by the way. Just let him go. You don't need him. You don't want him. You don't want to do it. You know what? Maybe I throw a little Elijah Moore into this. No, don't get too crazy. What am I doing? Just don't do it. Don't do it. Is this an Isaiah Bond moment here? Don't know if we're quite there yet. Let me look at ADP and see how that's shifting. I mean, if Alec Pierce is there, I feel like he needs to be considered to be the primary target. Wouldn't hate Calvin Austin. We're just chucking some random names on here and now at this point. My eyes were just Mitchell Tinsley. My eyes were deceiving me, and for some reason I thought it was Mitchell Trubisky. I'm like, why is Mitch Trubisky a wide receiver? What did I miss? Pretty sure he was a backup quarterback that just played last week in the preseason. So threw me off there for a quick second. Jake Bobo. Man, we're really scrolling down here. You ever scroll down so far that you run out of names? Now that's scrolling down. Look at this. KJ Hamler. All right. We're all 4 picks away. One of these guys will be there. So recapping the team, we're going to have Josh Allen, Aaron Rodgers at quarterback, running back Jonathan Taylor, Kenneth Walker, DeAndre Swift, Brian Robinson Jr., Miles Sanders, wide receiver Jamar Chase, DK Metcalf, Jerry Jeudy, Chris Godwin, Rashad Bateman, Marvin Mims, Joshua Palmer, and our mystery guest here. And then tight end Dalton Kincaid, Jonnu Smith, Zach Ertz. We double stacked Pittsburgh with Jonnu Smith and DK Metcalf. We double stacked Buffalo with Joshua Palmer and Dalton Kincaid. And that's what we're doing on this one. And it looks like Alec Pierce might be our last pick here in this draft. And then we're going to get into another Best Ball Mania draft. 1 second. At least I think that's what we're going to do. All right, Alec Pierce, come on down. All right. What are you looking to? Sorry, I'm just getting caught up in the chat real quick. So we have some options here. Let me see. I can do Best Ball Mania. I can do. They did drop this other contest, which I'm not doing tonight, but the first quarter, which is just Best Ball weeks 1 through 4 only, which I thought was interesting. I could do a flock contest 9. I've got one more available of this. So I can do Best Ball Mania, $25 entry, or a flock contest, which is a $10 entry. Let me know which one you guys want me to do. And that way, if you guys want to join, you guys can. And then I'll do a quick countdown. Let me know if you guys have a preference. Best Ball Mania or the flock contest. Fancy Dog says flock. You are the first to respond, my friend. We're going to go with that. So let's do it. The flock contest, $10 entry, only maximum 3 entries per time. Give you a quick countdown, and we'll do this in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Enter. I'm in. One more slot available. Get in while you can. It filled up. Let's hope y'all got into this with us. If you don't know if you did, it filled pretty quickly. And this, YouTube has like a little bit of a delay. So if you were trying to get in, sometimes the little delay will beat you. All right. We're going to get a pick 11. So we started, the last pick was 101. Now this one's going to be a 111. We'll see what we can do from the 11 and see what we can make happen here. 20 seconds till the draft starts. Thank you guys again for stopping by. Just a quick thanks. Don't forget to throw a like and a subscribe on the stream. I will try and go live every night in the evenings between 9 and 10 o'clock at night through midnight. Drafting teams right here. We are in the peak drafting season. This is the best time to be drafting. It's the best time to be preparing for your drafts by watching folks like myself or drafting on Underdog like we are and getting your exposures up, feeling out your teams, feeling out what kind of strategies you feel are best, and preparing so when you get into your regular redrafts with your friends, you can absolutely crush them like a bug, and they'll say, man, how did you know? And you're going to say, because I draft an Underdog, I pay attention on Main Event Fantasy, and I came prepared. And you'll just be winning championships, winning money, because that's what we do. At least it sounds good, right? If nothing else, it just sounds nice saying it. We got to be confident, right? You're supposed to draft like you're right, and that's what we're going to try and do. All righty. Almost on the clock. My eye hurts. Genty goes at 9. Neighbors returns to practice. Fantastic. He's coming back to practice tomorrow. No, he was there yesterday. I missed that part. You know what? We're just going to go ahead and rip Neighbors first and see if Puka comes back. If he does not, what's Achan's news? They're talking about Achan maybe missing week 1. We'll see. So I think this is what we'll do. We'll either do Derrick Henry or Drake London. Let's just grab a piece of my man Derrick Henry here. So we'll start Derrick Henry and Malik Neighbors with this draft. Fantasy Dogs has met another analyst who has an incredible winning record like you, I believe. Still awaiting his personals. Will relay to you if possible. Absolutely. Share the love. Let me know what his page is or his channel is, or her, and share mine with them, and we can talk more. Maybe we can even get on as guests on each other's shows and talk a little bit about strategy, talk a little bit of fantasy football, talk a little bit about player takes, and just have some good conversation. There are a lot of the years when I started drafting these things, I've done pretty good, but some years I didn't feel as good as others, and some turned out better than others. It's the ones when I didn't feel as good as I thought I should, or I did better. I feel locked in this year, but for some reason I don't feel as excited about the way the boards have worked out this year. I don't know. I feel like I should be more excited for things this year than I have in the past, but I don't know. Don't know. Messiah over there in the end had the first start. Same start, 1-2, Chase Taylor. Let's see what he does at 3. He went Tyreek Hill. So he just took top of ADP. If you were to pick a running back in the first round, Would you rather have Bijan, Gibbs, Barkley, or CMC? Who would you guys rather have? And I'm talking about not necessarily even in best ball, just in general, and whether it's redraft league or whatever. Who would you rather have out of those four? Bijan, Barkley, Gibbs, or McCaffrey? Fancy Dog said, "Don't you believe the biggest first tier ends at Bowers? I think the quarterback should go in right after that, spread out, of course." I can't get there because, man, I can see why, especially in some redraft leagues or some like that, like irregular leagues. Here, I don't know. Oh, I'm just about to be on the clock. I kind of like them I prefer them when they're in the 4th and 5th round, like they've been in years past. So I really don't like them having to even be in the 3rd. I really wish they were just all going in the 4th round, if I'm being honest. All right, we're on the clock. We're going to just say thank you and take what's there. ADP 35. We get him at 35. We'll take Devontae Adams here. And we'll let Aegison. He went back-to-back running back, Cook, and then he went and reached on Henderson. Man, everybody's reaching on Henderson as if he's like the second coming, which is kind of crazy to me. I'm going to go ahead and take George Kittle. I don't have that much of him, and I just got done this earlier in the stream talking about how he could be an absolute great pick in the 4th. If he's better than Brock Bowers and Trey McBride, and you get him in the 4th, 2 rounds later than the other guys, then much, much better. Fancy Dog says Barkley or Bijan, but Gibbs owns Minnesota week 17. Yeah, that week 17 Detroit Minnesota game is, man, that's a game I want pieces of for sure, and the right pieces and a lot of them. But I think I'm pretty sure that I've got Bijan as my consensus number 2 running back. I feel like Saquon's 3, Gibbs 4, CMC 5. But the more I've thought about it, I'm starting to think that I should have CMC ahead of Gibbs. And they just don't have a lot of offensive weapons in San Francisco. And I think as long as he's healthy, I mean, the guy just smashes when he's healthy every year. And you don't have the threat of snaps being taken away from him like you do in Detroit with, they kind of have a 1-2 punch still going. And they have a pretty good passing game. So I don't know. I think the more I talk about this, I think that Gibbs should go after CMC. Yeah, I'm talking about my rankings. I'm going to say that that's necessarily the right decision. It's just kind of where I'm at. Been picking up more CMC a lot more here lately. Yeah, I've gotten a pretty good amount. I don't know what my exposure rate is. We'll look here in a second. After I make these next 2 picks, I'll just take a quick peek at CMC exposure rate. I'm just kind of curious what I have on all of those guys in the beginning. Like, where am I at? We're getting towards we're kind of hitting crunch time here, right? We got a couple more weeks of really core drafting time. And I'm kind of really curious. I need to do later this week. I need to really sit down and do another evaluation of my team. Of all my drafts and see where I'm at. And just start to push for my final push of players that I really want to either bump up exposures on or, tell myself, whoa, you need to back that down. You're a little too, click happy on a guy maybe. Got CMC Henry team once, just couldn't pass on Henry. Yeah. Well, and here's the thing with CMC in the beginning, in April and May, he was going in the 2nd round. And I wasn't smart enough to draft enough of him when he was in the 2nd round. Like, I should have been like, This guy's a smash pick in the second round. Let me go do that, right? All right, Zay Flowers. Y'all know I like Zay Flowers. This guy just has to fall into the end zone 5 more times, and he's gonna crush his ADP 4 more times. You know, and by doing that, he'll get a few more yards, and we'll all be happy. I guess I'll just take RJ Harvey. There was a year, I think it was 2 years ago when I was doing this. I listened to a guy who almost always took ADP only, whatever the top of ADP was. So sorry. Whatever top of ADP was, that's all they took. It was one of the first 2 picks. It was either, it was running back, wide receiver, it was quarterback pops up there, whatever. Other than when they had a quarterback later in the draft to correlate or whatever, but they pretty much just always took whatever was at the top of ADP and made it work. And by doing that, you kind of force teams that get unique without getting your guys that you wouldn't have otherwise thought of. And I think that's probably something I want to do here towards the end, is just let ADP force me to be uncomfortable and draft teams that I otherwise wouldn't have put together. Like, I mean, I can't tell you how many teams where, like, if Pearsall would have came back, I probably would have clicked him without even thinking about it. But, like, should I? Right? Like, I don't know. Like, maybe it's a sign I needed to take Harvey, and I don't take a lot of them. So, I don't know. Just trying to think through my final push strategy here. In my regular redraft leagues, my strategy is very clear. I have got my strategy for redraft leagues 100% figured out, know where I'm going. It, depending on how many flex spots, etc. But I've got that figured out 100%. But here in best ball, when we're already 500 some odd, maybe 550 teams deep, I want to adjust a little bit. Your 9.3 CMC. I was about 5 months ago. I haven't drafted that much. So strong push lately. Yeah, I get it. I've got a good amount of Ricky. I really, really do. And I was looking at it today. He was a round 1 pick, so it's not like he wasn't a high draft pick either. He's still round one draft pick capital on that team a year ago. So I think they're really going to feature him this year. I think he came back from that gunshot wound and really flashed. And I can't help it. I mean, he's going in round 6, round 7. And he really could be a round 4, wide receiver, round 5. I don't know. I guess his ceiling could even be higher, but all right, let's see what happens. Reed goes, I was probably going to go ahead and get him. So you guys know what I'm going to do here. Because why? Because I can't stop grabbing him. I'm going to get, once again, Jaylen Warren. Look over my shoulder if you can kind of read the board back there. If you can't, squint your eyes or look at the beginning of this video when I had a full screen. Draft Jaylen Warren is written on that board. It's going to be written there probably for the rest of the season. I think he is the best underappreciated pick where he goes in all of best ball. And if I win money off of his back, then I expect him fully to come on my show. We'll celebrate his amazing year. And it'll be because we called it that he had a great year. And he should invite us to, I don't know, something. I don't know what it is. I like that Ricky call out. They remind you of Baker Mayfield, straight gangsta. kind of does. He's got a little bit of that attitude in him, right? Pittsburgh released CPAT. I was so sad. Yeah. I mean, I get it. They have a gadgety-ish type players that they don't necessarily need him. They've got enough running game. And for me, them releasing him is just another one of those things to say, like, that's one less random carrier to a game that doesn't go to him, that goes back into, maybe Jaylen Warren, right? So, and I probably need to throw Kenneth Gainwell on some team because honestly, he's still the running back 2 in the depth chart right now. Like, what's wrong with sticking Kenneth Gainwell on a team that, might catch a pass or two, randomly, right? So those are those things where it's like nobody's drafting Kenneth Gainwell. But if I put him on one random team and he happens to be a great pick in the fantasy football playoffs, then, for best ball purposes, then I have an absolute unique one. We're in a tournament with 672,000 other players. There's some advantage. That's super galaxy brain, right? Like concept to think that way. But it's like you're planning these scenarios to say, if it goes, you're drafting your team and you're saying, everything I'm doing is perfect. This is the way you win $2 million. That's how you have to draft it and assume that's everything correlates perfectly. And in that perfect scenario, this is how it works. Well, that's what it would be if we drafted Kenneth Gainwell in round 18, right? Is that we needed Pittsburgh to go crazy in week 17, and Kenneth Gainwell shows up. Maybe Jaylen Warren stubbed his toe in week 16, and Kenneth Gainwell plays a whole bunch. I don't know. But y'all know I got Jaylen Warren figured to be like the greatest running back in NFL history this year. I'm kidding. But I love where he goes. All right. This is where we bleed out on wide receivers a little bit. What does this guy have? All right. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to have to take Brock Purdy here. I wanted to wait, but Aegis in here has Ricky Pearsall, and I don't want to take a chance that he snatches up Brock Purdy as his quarterback. When I have George Kittle, I would like to stack Brock Purdy. So I think that's who he was targeting. That's just my opinion. So now we're going to move to one of these, and I think it would be Shaheed would be my preferred choice. I could get Brandon Ayuk and do a double San Francisco. But you know what would be really fun? If I don't do that and I go get Sky Moore on this team. Right? I think I'm going to go ahead and take Shaheed. We'll see if Ayuk falls. Maybe he'll fall 20 picks and he'll still be there. But this might be a Sky Moore team here, folks. All right, so far we're 1-3-5-1. Brock Purdy quarterback, Derrick Henry, RJ Harvey, Jaylen Warren running back, wide receiver, Neighbors, Devontae Adams, Zay Flowers, Jaden Higgins, Rashid Shaheed, and George Kittle at tight end. So pretty balanced start overall. Fantasy Dog says players who don't get drafted, who I pick a lot. NWI, Nick, which is, for those of you that don't know, Nick Westbrook, Akine, Devontae Turpin, Noah Brown, Jermaine Johnson. Oh, the tight end. Yeah. Who I got earlier is Jermaine Burton from the Cincinnati Bengals. That dude is super talented. He's just unfortunately buried as the 4 in the depth chart, but that guy is super talented, and he got buried because his attitude sucks. He came into the league like just a really bad attitude guy. But if somebody on that team and that Bengals team gets hurt and he gets some opportunities on the field, I think that guy can be awesome. And I do have 1 or 2 teams where I snuck him in on a Joe Burrow stack. So if he does go off, I've at least got him somewhere in the world. But I promise that I think, like, if he gets enough playing time this year, even if he doesn't like win you money, I think he could end up having a role next year. I can see him being. He's just really talented receiver on a pass-heavy offense. Actually, I'm going to go look him up and see real quick what he actually did last year. I mean, he didn't have a lot of action, but let me see if I can find him. Give me 1 second. There we go. Jermaine Burton, last year. What did you do, sir? Well, you didn't do much. You only had 13% snap share. You had 4 catches for 107 yards. So you didn't do much, but you look really good when you were on the field for your 10 seconds of fame. Yeah, everybody. I see you talking about that Chisholm dude in New England. New England's got so many great receivers over the last few years that nobody knows who they have. The only guy that I know is for sure is Stephon Diggs is going to be on that team, right? And he's going to be a focus. Otherwise, I'm not really sure what they're doing, if I'm being honest. Okay. Let's get together and feel all right. I'm going to take Josh Palmer here. I think I'm running out of options at wide receiver before another tier break happens. So I'm just going to grab him, and then I'll get a running back probably on the way back. Oh, I like a lot of these guys. I'll just take another Ray Davis share. I don't hate Mr. Ray Davis. Ray Davis sounds like the name of a blues or a jazz drummer. Like, hey man, thanks for coming to watch us tonight. My name's Ray Davis. I don't know. That sounds weird, but for some reason, I think did the new episode of Hard Knocks. Is the third episode out of Hard Knocks? Does anybody know? I've watched the first 2, but I don't know if the third one's out yet. Palmer song pick. He got paid to play. Yeah, he got a lot of money. He got a good chunk of money. Definitely. And I think they're going to use him. There you go, Miles Davis, famous blues bassist. Was that really his name? Well, Miles Davis, yeah, but Ray Davis, Miles Davis. Maybe it was Stevie Ray. Maybe it was the movie Ray. I don't know. That movie Ray was pretty good. I've seen it a bunch of times, but fantastic movie. Jamie Foxx was phenomenal in that movie. I'm a big movie buff, and actually, my parents were in town last weekend. Oh my god, no, 2 weekends ago. What? I'm losing track of time. But and we went and saw that new Naked Gun movie, and it was actually fairly. It was pretty funny. I liked the original ones a lot. When I was younger, and I think they did it justice here. I think they did a good job. All right. Coming around. Wow. They said, you don't need a quarterback, do you? And I said, no. Good Lord. Matthew Stafford will need to be a name that we get with one of these picks. We don't need him first because Ageson's got 3 quarterbacks. He's not going quarterback. So we can avoid that. Might go tight end here. I know everybody knows how much I like Tillman. Picks up a minor thumb injury. He was so excited he bent his thumb when going like this. I'm just kidding. I don't know how he hurt his thumb. Really didn't notice that. I think he's gonna be fine. Probably stubbed his toe. Strange went. Wow, that's interesting. Very interesting. I'm gonna grab Nick Chubb. I like Nick Chubb. I think he's good. I think he's gonna be fine. I think people think he's done and toasted and over the hill, and I disagree. So I've got a little bit of a bias on this one. I don't think Chubb is dead. I think he's well alive and will be just fine in Houston. Pretty adamant about that. If y'all have not seen this man in the gym, the man is a monster. All right, Matthew Stafford is quarterback 2. We're going to be done at running back. We will definitely get some more tight ends and wide receivers. Don't know if I'll go 3 tight end or not. I'm going to go ahead and queue up a couple of these fantastic-looking New York Giants players. Probably Jackson Dart, if I'm being honest, and just make him my third quarterback to pair with Neighbors at the end here. I definitely wanted to have pieces of Jackson Dart in case he comes on strong in the middle of the season. And with the kind of legs he has, he could definitely have a huge upside, especially when he's on a team with Neighbors. Maybe they're going to build that connection out and, they're going to walk it out at the end of the back half of this year. You raised kids, played softball, baseball year-round, then picked up golf. I know you raised kids and loved it when you said you played catch the ball, right? Yeah, absolutely. We actually had baseball practice today from 6 to 7:30. So we were there and, went pretty good. This team's pretty solid team that we're on. And he hadn't played baseball in a few years. He's been doing football, basketball, but he's kind of decided he wanted to pick baseball back up again. So looking forward to an interesting year to say the least. We'll see how it goes. He's doing better to start this year than I thought he was going to do, missing so much time. But I'll tell you what, though, it's like some sports definitely are more exhausting from the parent side of things than others because the practices are longer, for example, in baseball than, say, even something like basketball. And we're outside in this heat. It's like 100 degrees this week, whereas basketball, you're inside in an air-conditioned environment. And you can bring your kids, your other kids or whatever. And you don't have to worry about it. Well, like my wife hasn't been able to come to the last 2 practices because she's staying home with the other 2 kids. So I can be there and because I help on the field, right? I help, I don't say coach, but I help coach. I am tired. I definitely am tired. I think what I'm going to do is after this one, I'm going to start another one, see how it goes. And then I may, in the middle of it, I may, fade off and finish it on my phone. But I'm definitely going to start one more. Feeling good about I really wanted to get one more Best Ball Mania done tonight. Really did. All right. What do we got coming up on the board? Oh, y'all know my man Chig is here. I got to go with Chig. Unless he snipes him. He could snipe me right here. He didn't. We're going to get Chig as our next pick and our second tight end. Really like that room. It makes me feel like I can go ahead and skip out on a third tight end if I really wanted to, but I'm not gonna. Man, I'm tempted to take Rachaad White here. 160. And we're at 182. I'm just gonna do it. We'll just turn this into a 6 RB team. I don't care. That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do a 3, 6, 7, 2 team. If I did the math right. Right? So, yeah, 2 more picks. So, the next 2 picks will be a wide receiver and a quarterback. We're going to go with that. We're going to say that Chig is the top 5 tight end. George Kittle's the number 1 tight end. And that's why we don't need, any more tight ends on this team. What we need is Jesus at wide receiver because I don't know that I love this wide receiver room. And I feel super strong at running back. I probably didn't need to do that, but the value sitting here, Rachaad White, just felt right. It was calling my name. So what wide receiver do we get? That is the question. Just kind of looking at ADP, seeing how it's shifting. I don't understand why people are drafting KLS at all. I don't get it. You got the preseason, beauties, and they're like, oh, I'm going to put him on my team. He's going to save the world. I'm not seeing it. Could do Jordan Whittington. The double stack with Stafford. I wouldn't hate that. We only have one stack with Purdy. You know what, though? Here we go. Look, they still have him in here as Kansas City wide receiver. And he's not. Oops, why did I do that? I meant to. All right. Do we do it? Do we do Sky Moore on the 49ers? Is that what we're about to do? You hope to do all kinds of tutorials and sports disciplines. Yeah, man, go for it. Build that out, and I, help those who can use it, who need it, who want it. I think it's a beautiful thing. We're just helping each other, helping other people. You're really good at sports. Gift from God, nothing to do with me. That's how I always felt growing up, at least with baseball and just in general. I always felt sports, hand-eye coordination, everything came easy to me, and and I just kind of I always enjoyed it, but I was also very highly competitive. I want to win. Just like right here, I want to win this contest. I want to win. I think this one's $10,000. Yeah, I want to win $10,000 right here. We're going to take Jackson Dart and Sky Moore. That's what's going to happen. That's what we're doing. And we're doing it because we're crazy. And I don't mind being crazy. Jackson Dart and Sky Moore. We're going to do it. Mamba mentality, man. Rest in peace to Kobe. Man, I like that. I love that saying, and man, he was one of the greats. I'm a little bit biased with. All right, so we got Brock Purdy, Matthew Stafford, Jackson Dart, Derrick Henry, R.J. Harvey, Jaylen Warren, Ray Davis, Nick Chubb, Rachaad White, Malik Neighbors, Devontae Adams, Zay Flowers, Jaden Higgins, Rashid Shaheed, Joshua Palmer, Sky Moore, George Kittle, Chig Okonkwo as our complete team. A 3-6-7-2 build, very unique. I normally don't have too many teams that have 6 running backs, so it's okay. We're gonna do one more tonight. If I don't finish it on here, I will finish it on my phone, but you guys will see most of it. We'll see. 36 more of these Best Ball Mania tournaments. We're going. Let's keep it rolling. 10 spots open if anybody wants to join with us. Your Mamba mentality. So Kobe, one of my favorite players of all time. However, I'm somewhat biased on this, but there's the whole who's better, Michael Jackson and LeBron James, Kobe, who's the best of all time. I'm in LeBron James camp, but that's going to be me. I'm always going to be that way. And because I'm somewhat biased, even though I think if I wasn't biased, I'd still say that, but I don't know. But that's kind of me. All right, we're at the 1-9. I don't hate it. I don't love it. I can make it all work. That's where I'm at. 1-9. A lot can happen at 1-9. We're going to have a here we go moment. Just a quick reminder for anyone on the stream, throw a like on it would be appreciated. If you like this, it helps you, great. If it entertains you, even better. And if you learn nothing, if you are just here and you're not sure why you're here, click like anyway. It just seems fun to click the like button. It's a big thumbs up, makes people feel good. Subscribe. I do go live usually every night between 9 and 10 p.m. to midnight in that time frame right here on Underdog Fantasy. This is Main Event Fantasy is our channel. And my name is Nick again, and we're just drafting best ball teams right here on Underdog Fantasy. And we would love to have you come join in a draft with us. If you click on any of my videos in the description below, I do have a link for Underdog Fantasy. And if you go in and make your first deposit using promo code PERFECT216, you'll get a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. So example, you could put in $100, they'll give you $50 for free. You put in $500, you're going to get $250 for free. So take full advantage of that. I highly, highly recommend it. And we're here helping you try to draft better, win money, have a good time, and get set up for your regular redraft leagues that I know everyone's getting geared up for. And I just had to have a conversation, speaking of which, with some friends because I have 4 drafts on the same day on August 31st. Because that is the day everybody wants to draft their teams. 4. So I will definitely be trying to be prepared for that. I don't know what I'm thinking. Don't know what I'm thinking. All right. Pretty standard. Chase, Robinson, Lamb, Gibbs, Barkley, Jefferson, McCaffrey start. No surprises here whatsoever. Could not be more standard, if I'm being honest. We will take Nico Collins here because we're going to continue being standard because that's what we're doing apparently. I think I'm going to try it on this draft unless something crazy happens where there's a guy that I absolutely have an absolute no-no on. I'm going to try and take ADP only and see what happens. It's not a bad way to go. Let's just see what we can pull with ADP only. See what Two-Trop. I don't know. What a weird name. Sometimes I wonder where these people come up with their names. Knock a goat. Knock a goat over. I don't know. What does that even mean? I remember Ritzbits, not just the person, but I know Ritzbits, the crackers were fantastic. I like the minis. Puka goes. All right, I have to skip HN right now, I think, because of the situation going on with his health. So I'm going to skip him for now and go London. And technically, they're the same ADP, 15-2. So technically, I'm still doing what I said I would do and staying with ADP. I know it's a bit of a technicality, but it's what I did. All right. We'll see what goes around. Amon-Ra St. Brown got pulled up in the 8th spot and now paired up with A.J. Brown. See, I don't have a problem when people say, you know what, Amon-Ra is my guy, and you click him early because you really believe that much in him. I'm okay with that. What doesn't make sense to me is, like, you can get Amon-Ra and A.J. Brown back here in the normal part of the draft. You know, if you're going to try and do that and you want to get that creative to force a unique stack, just do Amon-Ra St. Brown at pick 6 or pick 5 or whatever, maybe even earlier, pick 3. Do that if you really feel that strongly about it, and then get him on the left side of the board, right? Somebody tell me what Knock a Goat over here is doing because he went Derrick Henry, Lamar Jackson. Somebody needs to check this guy's pulse. I'm not really sure if he's drafted before, but that's not how you do it. It does not make any sense. Fancy Dog says that first big tier I was talking about. I try not to have any strong fades after that. Yeah, it's a weird year, but like if you remember last year, after the first round, people were like, I don't know what to do in the second round. Like nobody liked the second round last year. Nobody felt good about it. Now it feels like the first half, at least, if not majority of the second round, you feel like they belong there this year. I don't know, or at least I do. So it doesn't feel horrible like last year. It felt ugly. You were getting, rookies in the back half of the first round. Said he can't Jackson 36. You could. It would be hard, but you could. I think the last draft he won at like 32 or 33. He just needs to slide just a smidge more. I think I've had him over here before. It doesn't happen often, right? But I think he really likes Baltimore is what he's doing here. He's doing the Henry Jackson thing. But like, here's the thing. You could start, for example, in this team. Let's just say you win Nico Collins, Derrick Henry, and then Lamar Jackson. So you could get both of those guys plus Nico Collins on your team. Like it's not helping him when he does this. When people do this, it really hurts the stack because you can do it in other ways. Now, if this is the only team you're going to draft, right? And he's like, you know what? Drafted one team this year. Here's who I'm getting on my team. Then great. Go get your guy. Go for it. Do your thing. It's your money, Why shouldn't you go get the guy you believe in? All right, JSN, it is come on down. You're the third wide receiver on the ADP train. We'll take it. Yeah, maybe I'm a little bit biased on some of the stuff that I say because I'm drafting multiple teams. So I'm going to draft from all positions multiple times. And when doing that, I try to avoid sabotaging the advantage of a draft pick because people don't understand. Like, if you're drafting, oh, look, now he gets Jaden Daniels too. Look at what are we doing? What are we doing? He stacked Jaden Daniels with McLaurin. He's just stacking teams. You ever see the movie Tin Cup? It's a golf movie. You're a golfing fan. You ever seen that movie? One of my favorite golf movies. Funny movie too. But with Tin Cup, it makes me think of like James Cook at the top when he's hitting over the water on 17 or 18 or whatever. And he's like, someone tell this guy he doesn't have to hit it from there. That's what I want to tell this guy. Someone tell this guy he doesn't need two elite quarterbacks. Like that's where I'm at. You only have 14 BBMs. Okay, only 14 BBMs. So you really have put some time into some other drafts then for sure. I'm still waiting. Underdog's sending me something, by the way, for last year because I maxed BBM last year. And they're sending me something, and I have not received it yet. And I know that, I don't know, maybe their mail moves a little slower these days. Bum, ba, bum, 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 ba, bum. I kind of like this team. Where Henderson is going, I'm really mad at myself because he was going so much later and I didn't get much of him. And now he's going the fourth. I think people are just ridiculous on what they're doing with him. I don't think he's in the right spot. I think he should be in the fifth round. Like in this spot, I would still take Kenneth Walker and probably RJ Harvey and probably Breece Hall over him. But like, how are you going to pass up Ted McMillan and any of these wide receivers and go with Henderson, who I don't know, I just doesn't make sense to me here. I get it because people are in recency bias. They're like, oh, he ran back 100, 100-yard kick return, and then he had another breakaway touchdown. Yeah, got it, against the number 2 and special teams unit or the number 2 defense or whatever on a preseason game. I just not enough to tell me that I need to draft him 3 rounds higher than where he's going. For me, at least. Once again, I could be wrong. Hubbard goes. We will continue with the ADP train that we're on. We're going to grab Jalen Waddle. We have definitely followed the plan, which was so far do what ADP says. Don't know if we're going to regret it or not, but that's what we've done. The problem here is if Joe Burrow ends up at the top of ADP, I don't think – I could get him and just backstack him. Haven't done that too much. You wish you had more Tet reminds me of Evans. Oh, I have a ton of Tet too. Oh, that's right. I meant to go look at my exposure to somebody. I got to look at that here in just a second. Forgot who it was. I was looking. Oh, CMC. That's right. I was going to look at my CMC exposure. All right, and we're back. And here comes Ibuka because we're not taking Joe Burrow here. Okay, we are rolling through this draft with wide receivers. So let's do this real quick. I'm going to go back to completed. Just going to jump into my exposures real quick while it's going down. And then let's see if I can figure out my, who am I looking for? CMC. So 9.1% CMC. So you're at 9.3. So you're a little higher than I am. So we're about the same. And then Tet McMillan, I already know this is going to be high. 13.6. Yeah, I knew that was going to be high. He might be in my top 5 wide receivers drafted. He's close. He's close. Maserati Marv is still there. I didn't realize I had this much Olave. Justin Jefferson, I was able to get up to 12%, which makes me really happy. Jaylen Warren, we're almost up to 18%. We're still rolling. This one hurts my feelings, but I'm hoping Najee will still be great. Josh Allen is almost my number 1 quarterback drafted. Let me go back to my 5 picks away. Let me get back into this draft so we don't lose our spot. Has there ever been a worse backstack of a somewhat elite quarterback than Burrow, though? I don't know. I've done it once or twice already on here just to do it because he felt enough to me where I was like, let's do it. And if you think about it, now that I did this before Noah Fant joined the team, but I was doing Mike Gesicki, Ichivash, and I either had Chase Brown on the team or I did have Jermaine Burton on the team. Give me David Montgomery. I haven't had too much of him, and of course not. Why would you do that? I will not click on Caleb Johnson. Will not happen, guys. I apologize in advance. He is not on the draft list. We'll get Aaron Jones. We're going to play the ADP game. Caleb Johnson. Sorry, my friend. If Caleb Johnson's the guy I need this year, I'm in trouble. I don't have him. Hello, Jalen Warren. Come on down. You can do it all the way to 88. I left your counterpart up there just for you. Oh, the CMC makes you feel good. Yeah, I mean, it's a healthy amount. 9.3%, it's a healthy amount. You got to feel good about that. Oh, Jalen Warren goes. Now do I take Caleb Johnson at 77, goes at 88? Do we now take him? I mean, or do I take Baker Mayfield? I mean, look, if I'm ever going to take a piece of him, right? Like, this is the time to do it. 11 picks passed. I guess this is the time to grab a piece, right? This is where I feel, all right, we'll take a shot. Doesn't feel horrible in this scenario. A lot of your huge exposures I like, but some of your top exposures are my strong fades. After watching you, I wish I had more balance. My exposures are huge. Yeah, hey, listen. If your exposures hit though, you're in really nice shape. I had a year where I drafted. I think it was my first year. I had certain players, certain strong takes, and I kept clicking on those players, and my exposures on some of them were super high. But my mistake then was I didn't understand enough that year about best ball yet, and I didn't understand enough about the value of certain types of players that I do now. And I still turned out okay, obviously, but I would call that first year more luck than skill, whereas the next 2-3 years has been more skill than. I mean, there's luck in all this. Let's not kid ourselves, but I think skill played more of a factor as time has gone on than luck. If your exposures hit, you will break the bank. Absolutely. Yeah. All right, we are coming around the other side. Look, Baker's still here. Look, see, this is what I mean. We take ADP at the top, and who knows? Maybe stuff happens, comes back around anyway. Who knows? Who knows? But maybe Ritz Bits wants him. I don't feel like these guys will take him. They got 2 quarterbacks. What does this guy have? Where is he? He has no Tampa Bay. Ritz Bits has no Tampa Bay. There's a chance. Let's see what Huron has. No Tampa Bay. There's a chance Baker Mayfield's going to come back to us, and we're going to look like geniuses getting Caleb Johnson. Nope, he just went 101. This guy must be in our draft. He must have heard what I said. That's what I think just happened here. Oops. Do 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 do. Brock Purdy goes. This is that run on quarterback area. Okay, we're here. And we're supposed to continue taking ADP because that's what we're supposed to do. Why is the excuse from practice? Wait, I didn't read that earlier. Stop. We're going to scroll down and we're going to take ETN instead because I didn't get a chance to read that. What is the issue? Why is the excuse from practice? He sat out Monday's preseason loss to the Bengals, a mutual decision between him and Washington. Head coach Dan Quinn said Wednesday he hoped for a resolution soon. Oh, boy. So this is adding to the fact that they may end up trading him, et cetera, et cetera. Interesting. I'm probably going to dodge him a little bit here temporarily until I figure out what they're doing. Chicago, Detroit, New England, Minnesota. All right, cool. I guess we're still fading quarterback. That's for sure. Back on the clock. Cooper Kupp it is. We're just going to keep on rolling with ADP. Why? Because that's what I said I would do. And I want to be a man of my word. So change your drafting style thanks to you. It just really toned it down last month or so. Yeah, I mean, I hope it works out for you. Really, I do. I mean, and I want to hear about it. If you have a really good year, we get fired back up. The channel keeps going. We reactivate ourselves, a little bit to next year, and I want to hear how your teams did. How did your year go? I'm hoping that those of us that have been in here since I started this thing this year, hope we all have a fantastic year. I think we all crush it. We all make a bunch of money. And then everybody's going to wonder, who are these guys? Where did they come from? And I want to go, I'll have what they're having, right? As they say. That would be fun. Scatabo at 118. Is it Scataboo or Scatabo? I keep thinking it's Scatabo. And for some reason, I don't want to say I'm wrong, but I never bothered to try and get it clarified. So is it Boo like a ghost or Bo like Bobo the Clown? Vacation in Tahiti. Oh, if you win $2 million, I hope you enjoy your vacation in Tahiti, my friend. You do that. If I win $2 million, I will absolutely go to a vacation. I think the first thing I'll probably do is, if I won $2 million, besides, get my reinvestments in order, is I'll probably pay off my house and my parents' house. That would be the first two things I would do with my money. And then reinvest a whole bunch and then take a vacation. Nothing too crazy. At the beginning of this year, I took my wife to Punta Cana, and we had a nice little baby. So it was we were having our last baby where she was pregnant, so we had a baby moon, and so we went to Punta Cana in end of January, like January 31st or something like that, and we're there for almost a week, and man, that was really nice. Do 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 do. Dun, 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 All right, we're running out of quarterback options. We don't want to get too cute. I'm going to get CJ Stroud here and pair him up with Nico Collins. Don't want to take the chance that we miss out on him. So I did step away from ADP, but I did pretty good for the first 10 rounds. I used my word, and it worked out. I'm going to probably have to abandon ship on it again because I want to keep things rolling. I just realized I have double Seattle receivers unintentionally. Is anyone taking Judkins now? Are you guys feeling good about him? That he's going to sign and be worth it? I've paused on him. I took too much of him early on before his situation, so I just kind of left him alone. Oh, excuse me. Man, this will definitely be the last draft. I am on the struggle bus, folks. There's a couple things I wanted to do. Okay, never mind. That changed what I was going to do. I was going to grab Kirk here, but now I'm changing my mind. I'm going to get Michael Penix, pair him up with Drake London, and then feel good about it. If by some miracle Kyle Pitts comes back in 15 picks, I will grab him. But I don't see that happening. I just don't see it. It would take a pretty good group. Now, there's some guys here that have 2 tight ends already, a good chunk of them, but there's plenty of them that don't have. They only have 1. So. Oh, man. Judkins does go 139. Woo. Said no Judkins. Yeah, I'm not. I'm taking a chill pill on him. Said you'd be scared flying over water though, or on a boat either. My dad's not big on boats and planes and stuff. Just I don't know if that's just something that, kind of how he always felt about it, but I don't have any fear. I have a fear of taking my kids on a plane at this age, but my wife, is pretty determined that we're gonna be fine and we should just do it. So all in all, we'll probably end up just doing it when the time comes. But for a trip at some point next year to do something, whether I'm winning this thing or not, we're gonna do something. But I don't have any fear about it. I enjoy it. I actually kind of enjoy traveling, but I worked for a corporate company for a while and oversaw a multi-state region for operations. And when I was doing that, I was, in and out of hotels 4 or 5 nights a week pretty regularly. So I got used to traveling a lot and got really, really comfortable going through airports. Kyle Pitts will not make it past Huron River Rat. He's a bad strapper. He's got no tight ends. He's not going to make it past him. He's going to get picked right here. Yep. Dang. That would have been awesome, but it didn't happen. It did not happen. That's okay. Sometimes things don't happen for a reason, but we will take a tight end here because we do want to get a piece of somebody. Somebody. Do. Take one, whoever we're going to get here, and then we're going to hope Sam Darnold makes his way back to us. Not going to reach that far down for him. I don't need him. It would just be nice to have him. Here's a guy I don't have a lot of. And then thinking about it, I could always do. Let me queue up my man here in a second. Get him later. Trying to think ahead. Huron River Rat is my buddy. Good guy. Oh, good. Well, your buddy sniped us on this one, but that's okay. He needs to hop on in here and tell us we should do a little mini interview. How does it feel to snipe us? Do you feel good? Did you enjoy hurting our feelings? Kidding. He didn't hurt my feelings. He's just doing what he's got to do. We'll take a quick peek at his team, too. Fields, Goff, Lawrence. Did he stack them? Lost it. Yep, we did. He at least got Fields, Goff. He didn't get any Jacksonville yet, but he can do it later. Oh, I don't like his double New York Jets, but it's actually kind of fun because if it is a 1A, 1B, then it kind of could work out for him. He's a good man. That's what he is. He's a good man. All right. So I'm really liking this team now, the way it's shaping up. I think it's doable. It's got some guys that I don't take all that much of, which helps me get a little bit more correlation. We got some a couple of fallers with some decent value. I like it. This team's turned out okay. We know we're going to try and throw Sam Darnold in here as a third quarterback. We know we need one more running back. We know we need 2 more tight ends. So we're probably just going to say we're done then at wide receiver. And we're going to do, if both these guys are here, then we will do Sam Darnold for sure. And then we will grab either a running back or a tight end. And then we'll see what comes back. Probably just get Dalton Schultz and just feel good about it. Although I do like Rico Dowdle. I don't snipe ever. I did once. I did have her once wish a golfer in match plays. Ball didn't stop as it went past the hole. Oh, I've had that happen plenty of times. I get it. I 100% get it. I don't purposely go out of my way to snipe people. I say this all the time. I had someone come in here and ask a question one night, and they asked me, they said, is it to your advantage to snipe people? And the easy answer is no, because by worrying about them, take Sam Darnold here, by worrying about them and taking players that may not help your team but hurt someone else, there's 672,000 other teams. You're not even going to be in the pod with these people that you're drafting with, because these 12 teams are not the pods that you draft with. It is a random pod of teams that you're in. So you're not helping yourself. You're hurting them. The best way to approach these drafts is do the best you can to draft the best team you can possible, and not really worry about. I mean, you have to pay attention to others for different reasons, but don't worry about others. There's a difference there. You know, your goal is to try and win, and you're not trying to. Don't overthink it. Dalton Schultz really is far down there. I'm thinking about taking Rico Dowdle here, or Woody Marks. I need 2 tight ends. What am I doing? I am falling apart. We'll just go ahead and take Dalton Schultz before I forget. So I'm going to get 1 more tight end and 1 more running back. Guess I missed that part. That's why I like the 3 and 10 hole to figure out what the teams between your picks need. Yeah, I feel like every year I go through this whole what's the best place to pick from thing. I don't know that there ever is a best place to pick from, but I guess I would look back at previous winners. Majority of winners seem to come, I mean, at least Best Ball Mania winners have seemed to come from like picks 9 through 12, because of the concept of, you know, you getting 2 first-round talents in the first 2 rounds, where, like, example, you know, Bucky Irving's not a round 1 running back like Bijan is, right? But Neighbors and Puka, you can get together and they both could belong in the first round. You know what I'm saying? So it's like the right side of the board, you feel like you're getting 2 first-round talents, whereas the left side of the board, you're getting a first-round and a second-round talent. I don't know, you know, which is kind of why I think people prefer the right side of the board. But newer drafters are people that are only going to draft a few teams on here. They're like, oh, I want the first few picks because I want to grab Chase, or I need Bijan, or that's fine. Nothing wrong with that. You can make great teams that way. Sometimes you win with those teams. It does happen. But I think that seasoned drafters typically like the middle to back half of drafts more, for the variety of teams you get and for the the better round 2 selection on the back half. All right, what do we have left? All right, we're coming up on it. Let's just knock this thing out here. Do we hit Sam Darnold with a third Seattle Seahawk? Do we do that? I think we do it. I don't care. Sam Darnold's going to go nuclear. He's going to be the quarterback 1, and he's throwing all 3 of these guys. That's how we're doing it. That's how I'm doing it. I didn't say I'm right. That's just how I'm doing it. Da-do-do-do-do. I might need to throw Dameon Pierce on a team or two, if I'm being honest. I doubt he's going to be anything, but I might need to just throw him on one. All right, let's do Arroyo. Done a tight end. Triple stack Seattle. We love Seattle. Yes, sir, we do. We'll make our last pick. We'll recap this team, and then we'll be done for the night. I am definitely feeling it. I am ready to pass out like you wouldn't believe. I don't want to get DJ Giddens. I think I'm either do Giddens, Tucker, or Kareem Hunt. Oh, whew. We're not getting Giddens. We're going Hunt. I can't help it. I can't help myself. I can't do it. I took Hunt. All right, let's recap the team. CJ Stroud, Michael Penix, Sam Darnold, quarterback, James Cook, Aaron Jones, Caleb Johnson, Travis Etienne, Kareem Hunt, running back, wide receiver Nico Collins, Drake London, JSN, Jalen Waddle, Miko Buka, Cooper Kupp, Xavier Legette, tight end Hunter Henry, Dalton Schultz, Elijah Arroyo. We triple stacked Seattle. We double stacked Houston. And Atlanta, we have a single stack on. So with Drake London. So feels kind of good. Doesn't feel great, but I don't hate it. It's a unique team for me because I haven't drafted some of those players on a lot of my teams. So appreciate you guys. I'm exhausted. I am gonna go to sleep. So y'all have a good evening, and then we should be back at it tomorrow. Tomorrow's Thursday. Yeah, I should be on Thursday. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't be, but I'm looking forward to seeing you guys again tomorrow night. I'll try and be on a little earlier as well. Thank you guys. Have a good night.